Okay, so we are going to look at the next question. This is level 2 decimals word problems, page 29, question number 2. Okay, so earlier on, first question, you would have heard me telling you about the raised steps, about why certain questions we allow the use of the calculator and why certain questions we don't. Now I'll go straight into reading this question. And you also heard that I have the habit of reading each question twice. Now, a container contained 14,525 milliliters of water at first. Some of its water was poured equally into 19 identical bottles. Then there were 0.75 liters of water left in the container. What was the volume of water in each bottle? Okay, I do my annotation as I read the second time. A container, so there's this container. If you like, you can draw it as you go along as well. 14,525 milliliters of water at first. Some of the water was poured equally into 19 identical bottles. You notice that I usually circle the number together with its units. So I have 14,525 milliliters, and then I have 19 bottles, and then the last number that I see here is 0.75 liters of water left in the container. What is the volume of water? What is the question mark? In each bottle. That is the question being asked. And then the final part, the most important, give your answer in liters. Okay, so I've done my first round of reading and I did a bit of circle, underline, highlight. The last part here on units. Okay, so under evaluation, there's checking of working, whether you get the working right, checking the reasonableness of your answer, whether the answer sounds sensible, looks sensible. I'll explain a little bit more later. And units, most importantly, the units. Okay, in this case here, the answers ask for liters. Okay, why most importantly the units? Because you realize that a lot of times it could be you got the answer, but just because you give it in the wrong units or you forgot to convert your mind, you got subtraction of marks. Okay, now for those who are fast, you may want to consider there are two units here. You have the one that's given in milliliters, and then you have something given in liters. The question asks for the final answer as in liters. Now, for those of you who are fast, you probably want to consider if you would choose to work with milliliters, is that something you need to convert? If you chose to work with liters, is that something you want to convert? And why would you choose milliliters first, or why would you choose liters first? Okay, there's some consideration here. So you can spend some time to ponder about that, okay, before you work the solution. So spend some time to digest the question first before you work it out. Okay, now to give a little bit more help to some of our friends who may have trouble understanding a long problem like this, we can try to draw it out. So I have a container with a bit of water, quite a bit. To be exact, is 14,525 milliliters. Units very important here. And then I pour it out to 19 times of this bottle, all the same kind, equally. After the pouring, this is at first. After the pouring, pour. After the pouring, the container still have some water left. The same container here, have a bit of water left. The left here is 0.75 liters, which means all the water that was poured out, okay, all the water that was here, okay, went into the 19 bottles. Okay, So I have to work out the solution now. First, I have two different units, milliliters and liters. Okay, I will choose to do the conversion of 0.75 liters to milliliters first. Okay, later you'll see why I made the choice. Okay, and perhaps afterwards you'll be able to understand why, and next time you'll be able to make a wiser choice at your very first step of converting, or perhaps even some of you can explain as well and understand what I'm about to explain even before I'm explaining it, right? Wow, sound mouthful. Okay, so from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you do multiplication. So over here, I have 750 milliliters of water. This represents what's left. So I want to see what's used into the 19 bottles. So I have 19 bottles of water. The amount of water that went in was actually 14,525 milliliters. I'm going to write the units into all of this so that I keep that in mind, that I'm using what you need. And then in the end, whether there's a need of conversion, it becomes very obvious. Okay, at this point, calculator is allowed. 14,525. So over my left hand side, I have my calculator with me, so I'm typing it out. I have 13,775 milliliters of water that went into the 19 bottles. Okay, so I've done my annotation. I did some drawing to help me. Okay, so I'm choosing to convert to milliliters first. I'm aware of my choice. Now I find my 19 bottles. I have to find one bottle because each bottle stands for one bottle. I can use bottle or I can use U as to stand for the unit, as in one bottle is one unit. Okay, so one bottle I will have 13,775 milliliters divided by 19 bottles. I can at this point use my calculator again, and that gives me 725 milliliters. Okay, then the final answer requires me to be in liters. I have to convert 725 milliliters, convert to liters. From a smaller unit to a bigger unit, I have to do division. Okay, so 725. Imagining put up the invisible, make the decimal point visible, and I divide. I will get 0. Okay, 0.7. Oops, 0.725 liters. Okay, now 0.725. Okay, so for those of us who are fast, okay, have you figured out why my initial question, why did I choose to convert my first step of liters here to milliliters and choose to work with milliliters throughout? At the end, then I convert to liters. Why did I not consider changing the milliliters here at this point to liters and work with liters continuously? Okay, I hope you have answered to this question. You can share with me when the next time you see me. Okay, that's this question.